So I thought I'd do a two for today or tonight. Hopefully find something new or learn something new. Take Leia out for a nice nightly stress-free stroll for her. No dogs. No little dogs or Karen's gonna freak out on us for talking to my dog. Or talking to myself for that matter. I posted something earlier about this orange shirt day, and they mentioned a sacred fire. So I wanted to go check this sacred fire out. I'm 53. I don't know much about my culture. I'm a scoop survivor. Yeah, I don't know much about being from West Bank First Nation because it didn't help that they banished me. Because I found out where I came from West Bank. I found out the mother of myself, and I talked to the mother's brother, and that he wasn't welcoming. He ended up telling me to stay away from his family or he'd fucking kill me, and some other shit was said. So I kind of got the vibe off that Lindley family. So I don't know much about my culture, except that I'm unwanted and hated. Oh, look at that. There is a fire going on in there. Now, a couple of questions have to be asked. No. Go over there, Leia. You'd think I know this, but like I said, I'm a scoop survivor, so your guess is as good as mine. But they said this is a sacred fire. I don't know what it's supposed to represent. Nobody here to ask. So yeah, I don't know much about my culture because West Bank pretty much banished me due to the fact that I tracked down where I was from, or not where I was from, but the family I was from. And I guess they didn't appreciate that, and they banished me from that band, West Bank First Nation. So I'm not very welcome there, which is unfortunate because I would have loved to gone there to find out why I was hated so much. Because my theory is that I'm a rape baby. I wasn't conceived willingly. So that's why when I was born on April 11th, that nobody heard of me until, the end of June, the end of July, when I was 3 months old, when the Calgary police found me in the abandoned apartment with what they are classifying as a quote unquote deformed back and cigarette butts, cigarette burns on back, starving, half dead baby, which was me. Baby Doe was the first name I was known by. But once I found out and heard from them and found out again who the family was that did that to me, I started being an ex-criminal, I started putting a couple of things together. Oh, there's the cops right there. Go figure. So me being a former criminal, I started trying to put two and two together. And the only way there's hatred, so much hatred for a baby at 3 months that they would stomp to death, put cigarette burns out on the back of it, and pretty much torture that baby and leave it for dead in the abandoned Calgary apartment I was a rape baby. And how other things transpired during that. There's other reports that I have access to that states a man came into the Calgary Police Department located at whatever and said that the baby that they apprehended in the abandoned apartment was actually his. And he was an American, but he had no paperwork to prove that I was his child. So they refused to release me to him, which is probably a good thing. Go! And then the second being is that on another document, the birth mother states that, oh, I took him to Calgary to meet a friend of mine that couldn't have babies. I don't like this cop creeping around. Her statement, her official statement and documented statement was, I had a friend that couldn't bear children, so I was giving my child to her. And there were just a lot of other things, you know. The fact that somebody hated me enough to stomp me out as a 3-month-old baby and put cigarette burns out and then leave a 3-month-old baby in an abandoned apartment. That's kind of torture. And it's not a very good thing. But that's what I came from. And then I was put into foster care where they locked me into a closet from a 3-month baby until I was 4.5 years old. Malnutrition, rickets when I was adopted. I had no immunization shots. So, yeah, at all that time, I never learned my culture. So I don't know anything about that sacred fire or what it represents or anything about my culture. And it would be nice for me to be, I always said to Steve there, he goes, if you want a bunch of money, where would you go? And I said, if I had a bunch of money, I could afford a vacation, I'd go to Kelowna, BC. And he looked at me, he goes, Kelowna, BC? Why would you want to go there? I'd want to know and need to know where it all started and why. That would be my healing. But being banished from West Bank means I can only go to Kelowna and find those answers out. Because the said family is very well known and very well connected in that area. So, with me being banished from West Bank, it essentially means I can't go on to West Bank to find out the answers to do any healing, which sucks. But I'd still go to Kelowna. But those are dreams, never gonna happen. I'd like to know what that sacred fire is, but I see the cops creeping around and yeah. I have a lawsuit against the EPS. I don't need to go missing before I start my new beginning or new life or whatever you want to call it for October 1st when I move.